Today, we're diving into something that separates great leaders from the rest: character. It's not about talent, experience, or position. It's about how you show up, how you treat others, and how you navigate challenges. Welcome to another episode of Everyday is Friday. I'm your host, Coach Jay Fry here, and it is here where we try to bring you the same amount of energy that Fridays bring you, and we bring it to you regardless of the day. So today we're going to talk about something really important. We just read it. We're going to talk about character and how developing your character increases your ability to lead others. We're talking about three very important things. The very first one is humility. What is humility? Humility is the ability to recognize your own limitations, your mistakes, and also see the value in others. Super easy. I'm trying to keep it simple, but that's the key for humility. For generosity is number two. It's the ability to lead with a giving mindset, not a taking one. And the third one is forgiveness. We want to let go of the grudges and focus on winning. That's the episode today. Let's develop you as a leader, build your character, and help you tackle whatever is next. Today is humility. First one, humility is one of my favorites. Okay, humility is this ability to you recognize your own limitations, you recognize your faults, and you also see the value that other people bring. Now, that is really easy when there's nobody around. You see, this ego thing takes us from the ability to be humble. There's a saying that you're either going to be humble or you're going to get humbled. And when ego comes in, you're going to get humbled. It doesn't matter where you're thinking, where you are on the platform, right? Where you are in the arena, where you are in the business world. Are you CEO? Are you mid-level management? Are you a rookie? Right? It doesn't matter where you're at. If ego is involved, then your ability to be humble is going to be massively hindered. Your ability to lead others is massively hindered when ego is involved. So we want to be humble today. So I encourage you today, that's your challenge today, is to make sure that when you are listening, that you are humble. If you're listening with another person, can I remain humble while this other person is here? Can I accept? Can I give? Can I make or acknowledge my limitations to the other person? Because guess what? I might not say it, but they already know. They know my limitations. They know whether or not I'm a good leader. They know whether or not I can do certain things. If I'm Shaq at the free throw line, my teammates, regardless of what I say or how big my ego is, they know whether or not I'm a good free throw shooter. So that's what we want to do. We want to focus on this ability to do it, to focus on humility. For generosity, we want to focus on this ability to lead with the giving. Okay, we're going to get a whole lot deeper into each one of these. But by giving, having this giving mindset, what could this bring? If I focused on giving you certain aspects, what could that bring? You know, The Go-Giver is one of my favorite books by Bob Burg and John David Mann that discusses this power, this immense power that giving has in leadership and what that does. That third and final piece of forgiveness, which we are going deep in here in a minute, so you better get ready. This ability to let go, right? We want to let go of grudges. That's very hard. Remember, somebody else is in the room. This ego thing, that grudge thing. Oh, they got the job and I didn't. Right? They talk bad about me. How dare them? blah, 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 blah. Like, so all this little negativity here, we got to let that stuff go so that we can win. Because if I win, everybody wins. If everybody wins, I win. But it can't happen if we don't let go. Why does this matter, ladies and gentlemen? It matters because when we can focus on our character, when we can focus on these three areas, we have the ability to increase trust. Now, with the trust index done by my favorite people, with whole leaders, okay, with wild leaders, trust, we have the ability to now measure it. So if trust goes up, what else goes up? If trust is high. If trust is high, I know I can be me. I know that I can have certain abilities. I know that if trust is high, that my team has the confidence in me to elevate. If trust is high, or why it matters, influence. If my character is really high, my ability to have trust, which then means I can influence others to do the things that are great and best for the team, for all of us. Why else does it matter? Culture and performance, right? Culture goes up. Culture is one of those buzzwords, right? There are certain people, there are certain outliers who can make it with a nasty culture, but people don't want to be a part of that. People want to be a part of something that they feel is special. When you have high character people, something is special. I do in this podcast here in the office at Adventure Unknown, and everything about this place is special. Why? Because the character level of each and every single member here is up there. Why? Because these three things that we're talking about, from humility and forgiveness and generosity, those three things happen here. And when those happen, then performance goes up. The things that you're able to do goes up. One last thing. March Madness. March Madness is coming up, right? So all this stuff that is happening in the season is like piecing it together. We're getting closer and closer to March Madness. And you're going to start seeing some teams right now, because it's the end of January. It's actually February 2nd. So we're looking at, like, certain teams are coming down and certain teams are coming up. You're going to start to see that. Why? Because of the culture, because of the performance, because of the trust, because of the influence. All these things, because these teams are maintaining high character. They're doing what we're going to discuss here. March Madness. And what are you going to see in March? You're going to see 2 to 3 coaches, probably 3, have amazing runs in March Madness. They're going to get deep in there. And what are they going to do? The coach is going to be seen as this guy who knows his stuff. Oh my goodness. But it won't be the X's and O's that everybody's wowed by. It's going to be the trust, influence, culture, performance of his team. Because that's what they're building up to. Now, it takes time, but it takes intentional. And it takes these 3 things that we're about to discuss. So hold on. Let's get going. Leading with humility. Humble. Humble or get humble. We already said it, right? It's this ability to view your own limitations. When you as a leader can view your own limitations, guess what? You know where your limitations are, which means what? Somebody else can excel in them. When you're looking at performance of teams, until you get to your level of excellent, or until you can get to the level of 80% of being somewhere really, really good, it's important to make sure that somebody else can do that level. That's why great teams exist, because somebody is a terrible free throw shooter, but somebody else is great. So they're going to draw up things to get that great shooter the free throws. They're going to draw up the plays so that the big man, Shaq, we used him as an example. They're going to draw up plays so Shaq can get the ball under the rim so he can do his thing. If you don't know your own limitations, or you don't allow your team to know your limitations because of that ego, because you don't want to look bad in front of them, if you don't do that, then the team can't perform at its greatest level. Well, a great leader demonstrates this. I know I'm terrible at this, so I need to empower somebody. I need to delegate. I need to move this over to somebody else's plate who can thrive in this situation. So by you knowing your limitations, by you knowing your teammates' limitations, you have the ability to put them in seats where they are the greatest at for the current time. Does that mean that you don't develop your limitations? No. That means you work on them. You grow, you get better, you challenge yourselves. But that also means when it comes time, in order to perform at the highest level under the most amount of stress, you have the right person in the right seat with the right capacity. But you have to know that. You have to let the ego go. The other piece right here is going to be that the fact that you value others. You're valuing others. So when I value others, I praise them. I'm going to give them credit. I can publicly praise them if they like that. I can slap them on the back if they like that. If it's one of those things, like I want to give them the praise and the value that they deserve. How do you value other people on your team? Serious question. How do you do it? What do you do to value them or to demonstrate value? You might truly value them, but if you don't show it, that's going to be one of the reasons why they leave. But great leaders will show and demonstrate their values. That's the reason why so many people are connected and drawn to certain people. That's why they're drawn to certain companies. It's because they demonstrate the value to others. They demonstrate humility. That boss, the leadership there knows that it's either get humbled or be humble. So they're going to demonstrate this piece to one another. Number 2, it's leading with generosity. What does that sound like? Man, I'm just going to be generous. I'm just going to give. I'm going to give. That's not what it is. Giving, it must be seen instead of giving, the giving mindset, it must be seen as an investment mindset, not just a give. I'm giving my time because I'm investing it in this person. That's the reason why we see so many people leave right now, is because they're not investing in their people. They no longer want to give that time, give that investment to them. I want to invest time. I want to invest knowledge. I want to invest encouragement into these people, into my team. And you're going to see great leaders do this. You're going to see the March Madness coaches. You're going to see examples of this generosity, of them giving themselves to their team because they're investing. They're investing in this team. They're investing in each player. They're investing in their assistant coaches, the knowledge. They're investing their knowledge to that coach. Why? Because the head coach knows that if the assistant coach gets that much better, what does that do to the team? What does that do to the mission? It makes it that much more important. It elevates everybody else. If I can trust my assistants, I can go and do this thing that's a little bit bigger picture while giving this assistant the trust and the ability to help the team through certain things of practice. I'm able to detach a little bit more when I can give time, energy, knowledge, encouragement. When I can give this to them, what happens then? Team goes up. Trust, performance, trust, influence, culture, and performance, right? That all goes up simply because I'm being generous with me. I'm leading with generosity. I want to do this to my team. So remember, how are you investing your time with your team? Investment. See it as an investment. How are you investing your knowledge to passing this on to them? How do you teach them? How do you coach them? You know, the difference between a coach and a consultant provides an answer and that's it. But a coach guides them to find the answer. How are you investing yourself into guiding others to find the answers for themselves? How are you encouraging and investing in others with encouraging words of praise, with encouraging coaching? How are you doing it? The third and final piece here is forgiveness. You are leading with forgiveness. Now, people will see this as a weakness when you say it this way. I'm going to lead with forgiveness. Oh, it's okay. You messed up. It's okay. You lied to me. It's okay. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying that you need to address the mistakes and move. How about that? Mistake and move. Address the mistake. What happened? Why did this happen? What could you have done better? And then now let's move forward and address a plan. Create the plan, an action plan on how do we do this so that mistake doesn't happen again. The first time I ever spoke with my man Nick Lavery, he was like, Jay, I'm expecting you to F it up. So basically I'm down here, I'm at the bottom. There's no more expectation on, he doesn't have high expectations because I've never done it and he's never seen it. So it's down here. So it's one of those things like, Jason, you can F it up, just F it up. If you're in a safe environment, if you're in a safe place, encourage the failure and encourage the mistakes. Because we're going to make a mistake and then move. Make a mistake and then move. Make a mistake and move. That's why the training in the military is so effective, because these people are making mistakes and moving in pressure situations that aren't deadly. And then slowly getting better and better and better. So that's what we want to do. Address the mistake, move forward. I want you to see, as a leader, I want you to understand that seeing this as failure is important, but failure as a learning moment. As many learning moments as possible. That's the whole point of practice, is how can we create more learning moments of failure so that we have less failure in games. But in a previous podcast, we said that everybody else has a say. So the defense has a say. Your opponent has a say, no matter who it is. The person you're going against has a say. The earth has a say. In fact, travel conditions have a say. Everybody's got a say in this. So we have to understand that. So if failure is going to happen, address it, but then move. So remember that. Mistake, then move. Mistake, then move. But you've got to make sure that they understand what the mistake was, what they did, and then the move part is no longer holding on. We said earlier about letting go of grudges. There's a grudge. This person took my job. But if I'm focused on letting that go and moving, then I'm able to help the team win. Guess what? They got that promotion. But what does that mean? That means that I have the opportunity for whatever's next promotion. If I can let go of it and then move. Mistake, missed out on it, move. So I encourage you right now to find the way to mistake and then move. So these 3 tips here, we've got leading with humility, we have leading with generosity, and we have leading with forgiveness. These 3 things of character are building the character of your team, regardless of what you're doing, business, military, or athletics. These things are going to move your team's needle. How? What do we say? Trust, influence, culture, performance. All of this is going to go up because of our focus on character. We're going to provide some stuff in the notes, a worksheet in the notes to help you with some questions to ask so that you can grow, you can get better. If you enjoyed this podcast, this episode of how we can use character to elevate our leadership, if you enjoyed this, please share it. Please like it. Please comment. We're going to read every single comment. We're going to make sure that everybody has a chance to grow and get better in their leadership. The health of your leadership matters. We want to thank you, and we hope that you are now energized. You are ready to rock and roll. You are ready to bring Friday's feeling to wherever you're at today. Have an amazing day, and God bless.